The following is a special video presentation from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. You are watching RJ Debates 2020. Here is your host, Victor Jakes.
Hello, I'm Victor Jakes. Welcome to the Las Vegas Review-Journal's Nevada Judicial Debate Series. Today's debate is between the two candidates running for Clark County District Court Department 8. Joining me tonight are Judge Trevor Atkin and Jessica Peterson. We'll begin with opening statements. Judge Atkin, you have 1 minute.
Thank you, and thank you for hosting this. It's important for the voters. And the voters, I think, deserve experience because experience matters. I've got 32 years of proven trial experience. I was in the court for 32 years on a weekly basis, handling all of the types of cases I hear before me now as a judge. I hear medical malpractice, insurance defense, personal injury, probate disputes, injunctive relief, constitutional issues. I practiced in each of those fields before I was appointed to be the district court judge. And it's not just 32 years of quantity, it's quality. I earned an AV rating from Martindale-Hubbell, the highest possible legal rating you can get from the gold standard, Martindale-Hubbell, highest legal knowledge experience, highest ethical experience. I earned that in 2003, and I've earned it every single year since then. So that's 20 years of earning that.
Thank you very much, Judge Atkin. Jessica, go ahead.
Thank you for hosting this, and thank you for providing us with this platform. I have always wanted to be a judge, and both my personal and professional experiences make me the best choice to fill the seat I am seeking. I've been a general practitioner for the last 20 years. I've handled matters in virtually every area of the law, from simple criminal misdemeanor cases to complex civil litigation matters. I've represented plaintiffs and defendants, businesses and individuals, and since 2016, I've effectively been serving as a judge through the district court's arbitration program. I genuinely care about the law in this community. I'm a member of the North Las Vegas Rotary and served as a past president there. I've also served as a truancy diversion judge. I've been involved with the Rape Crisis Center, and I volunteered for the Ask a Lawyer program. And during this pandemic, I've assisted various different organizations for helping people in need. My experience and knowledge of the law, as well as my ability to be objective, fair, and compassionate, make me the best choice for judge in Department 8 of the District Court.
Thank you very much, Jessica. Judge Atkin, will you describe your judicial philosophy, including if you view the Constitution as a living document or if you believe a judge needs to uphold the original meaning of the text?
Well, I fall somewhere in between. There's the originalist interpretation, which is exactly as it was written over 200 years ago. And then there's the living, breathing constitutional theory where it's advanced. I'm somewhere right in the middle because as technology has changed, as society has evolved, it's important that the Constitution evolves with it. Our laws change, our technology changes, and it's important to adhere to the Constitution, not make up law as we go along, but adhere to that. And under the theory of stare decisis, I follow the law of the Constitution as provided by the appellate courts, and also I apply the law as written by the Nevada legislature.
Thank you very much, Judge Atkin. Jessica, same question for you. Will you tell the viewers about your judicial philosophy?
My judicial philosophy is going to know that I've listened to them, that I have been fair, that I've listened to all the facts, and that I have applied the law to the facts, and that they are going to understand my decision and how I arrived at that decision. I do that as an arbitrator, and I will continue to do that in the courtroom. I agree with Judge Atkin to the extent that the Constitution, I believe, is a living document because of the fact that it has been interpreted by the Nevada Supreme Court as well as appellate courts around the country.
Thank you, Jessica. Jessica, we'll start with you. This seat currently deals with all civil matters. Are civil courts in Clark County fair to both parties, or do they tilt in favor of either the plaintiffs or defendants?
I guess I don't understand your question, Mr. Jakes, as far as do all civil courts, or is this current department?
Well, I'll let you answer it either way. I think people don't know a lot about the civil courts, and I just want to get your perspective on, are the trial lawyers coming out ahead, or are businesses coming out ahead, or is it pretty well balanced?
I would say that it really depends on the facts and circumstances of the case. I think that plaintiffs who have good facts and who are within the law are going to get fair rulings. I can only state that I know that I will be fair and I will listen to the facts. I have been involved in every area of the law: probate, family, business disputes, defamation cases, and I believe that in all of those we have prevailed. I've been on the side of plaintiffs and defendants, but so I can honestly say that I've been pretty fairly treated in all the cases where I've represented people.
Thank you, Jessica. Judge Atkin, you've been both a lawyer and now a judge. What's the state of the civil courts in Clark County?
Well, the civil courts right now, they're backed up due to COVID-19, and so we're kicking the can down a very narrow pathway. I was appointed and started my first day October 1, 2019. Even with COVID-19, I have not missed a single day of work. I have been in my chambers every single day following the proper protocol. I've held hearings. I've had over 24 bench trials, some of them after the pandemic protocols were put into place. I follow the law. The law is my friend. It is dictated by the Nevada legislature and the Nevada Rules of Civil Procedure and the 8th Judicial District Court rules. I adhere to the law and I apply it evenly in my courtroom, plaintiffs and defendants. And as it pertains to pro se litigants, I do my best. I can't help them. I'm professionally obligated not to, but I give them every bit of latitude I can under the rules to ensure they have access to justice when they don't have counsel.
Thank you very much, Judge Atkin. Judge Atkin, as you know, a judge can be assigned to criminal or civil cases, although this is a civil seat. I'd like to ask you about your thoughts on criminal cases. In those cases, one of the most important roles a judge has is to issue sentences. Will you talk about your approach to sentencing, especially how you determine if the criminal should be given a shorter or longer sentence when a judge has a range of options?
Well, I wish there was less discretion in that regard. I wish there was more certainty, because people in the law love certainty. Civil lawyers like it, criminal lawyers like it, and it's fair to people. And I know the Nevada Sentencing Commission does their best with sentencing guidelines, and I know the Nevada legislature does their best, and it's evolving to what is best. It includes bail reform. I haven't sentenced anyone, but I believe that everyone should be treated fairly, impartially, and I think at 58 years, 32 years practicing law, I have a good sense of common sense, wisdom, compassion, and doing what's right under the law.
Thank you very much, Judge Atkin. Jessica, same question for you. If you were elected and this seat became a criminal seat, how would you approach sentencing?
Well, first, as Judge Atkin mentioned, there is a current backlog of cases. So while this is a civil seat at this juncture, because of the backlog of cases, I would be able to step in if I was needed to handle criminal matters, because I have handled criminal matters in my practice. As far as sentencing goes, there's two purposes to sentencing. One is deterrence, to deter both the individual who committed the crime as well as to deter the community in general. And the other one is retribution. The goal is to make sure, and sentence doesn't just refer to jail time. It can be probation, it can be rehabilitation, it can be jail as well. So you have to look at what are the least restrictive measures to achieve the goals that sentencing is meant to have while still effectively protecting the public. So I would take those into consideration.
Thank you, Jessica. And stick with us. Our judicial debate will continue in just a moment.
Get ready for every Raiders game with us. Vegas Nation Game Day will give you everything you need to know about each week's matchup.
I'm excited.
Sundays at 9 a.m. starting in September on YourView. Vegas Nation Game Day coming this September.
All your listeners and followers, The best name of any podcast in the world is Podcast.
Nobody's ever done it. Nobody's ever faked
Not that we
their
know
death.
of.
No.
When you work with Prince, you got to get used to the fact that he changes musicians like underwear. You know, like
Tom Brady.
Who?
And Tom Brady, he's a quarterback out of in the Boston area.
I'm not sure who you're talking about.
You're watching the general election debate for Department 8. It's part of an ongoing series of debates produced by the Las Vegas Review-Journal to inform local voters about these races. Jessica, on your website and in your opening statement, you mentioned that you first decided you wanted to be a judge 20 years ago. Shouldn't voters select a judicial candidate based on their qualifications, not because it's a job they've wanted for a long time?
Well, I would no, because in my particular instance, I created my career and I developed my career around my ultimate goal to be a judge. So the very first job that I took was with a judge and learning the ropes with him. And then I sought out different firms where I would be able to vary my practice areas so that ultimately when I decided that I had enough experience that I would be ready with all of the various different a judge.
Thank you, Jessica. Judge Atkin, before being appointed as a judge, you were a high-profile trial attorney. If you are the judge in a case where a business owner is being sued by a trial attorney, how can the business owner feel confident that he or she will get a fair hearing?
Well, first, I was a business owner. I started my own firm in 2004 with 3 partners. There was 4 of us. By the time of my appointment, 16 years later, it grew to 17 lawyers. I had 48 staff members. I managed it. I managed payroll. I managed personnel. I managed books. All the time, trying cases, going over to court on a weekly basis, trying cases in a wide range of cases, including businesses. And I think that gives me quite a bit of business background as a business person, as well as the judge applying the law to the business sense. And I hear a lot of commercial litigation, business cases in my court, and I've handled a lot of complex business litigation cases as an attorney.
Thank you, Judge Atkin. Judge, obviously you think you're the best candidate for district court. Do you think Jessica is unqualified or unsuited to be on the bench?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. You're required to have 10 years of experience. I know she has that. I'll leave that for the voters to decide. I know I am eminently qualified. I've got 32 years experience. I'm local, 3rd generation. Why does that matter? Everything is put in context, cases, businesses, relationships. I've known that since I was a little kid folding papers for the RJ and the Sun on my bike route. I have 32 years experience, AV rated, preeminent for 17 straight years. I think I have more than qualified to serve and continue to keep my seat in Department 8.
Thank you, Judge Atkin. Jessica, same question for you. Do you think Judge Atkin is unqualified or unsuited to be on the bench?
No, I don't think that he's unqualified or unsuited to be on the bench, but I would distinguish between the two of us. My understanding is that he has practiced primarily insurance defense, representing insurance companies. I have represented individuals, businesses. I have represented both plaintiffs and defendants, and I have been practicing in all of the various different areas of the law, including criminal law. And so I think that that distinguishes the two of us. And I've also lived in various different states in our great nation and had to develop relationships with different types of people. My ability to communicate and create understanding and compassion among people, I think makes me more qualified for the position.
Thank you, Jessica. Jessica, would you name a judge on the bench that you think is doing a good job and a characteristic of theirs that you would like to emulate if elected?
I absolutely love both Judge Denton and Tim Williams. I think both of them are incredible jurists. They are fair, they listen, they're compassionate, they attempt to try and resolve matters, and they render decisions that are comprehensible. And I would try to emulate all of those qualities.
Thank you, Jessica. Judge Atkin, would you name a judge on the bench, yourself excluded for this question, that you think is doing a good job and a characteristic of theirs that perhaps you emulated once you took the bench?
Well, Tim Williams is right up there, and I would agree with my opponent on that. But I would say Chief Judge Linda Bell, and I practiced in front of her for a number of years, and I always felt she was fair, prepared, and she demanded a lot of the attorneys that appeared in front of her. Sometimes it didn't feel fair, but now that I'm on this side of the bench, I really appreciate it. Not only that, but she is Chief Judge. She manages our court system during a pandemic, I might add, and has implemented the paperless system for signing orders and the issuance of search warrants. And I can't say enough about everything she's done, all during a pandemic, while being a judge as well.
Thank you, Judge Atkin. And stay tuned. The debate will continue right after these messages.
With so much excitement building around the Raiders and their inaugural season in Las Vegas, the fans want to be heard. The launch of Vegas Nation Fan Zone is their answer. That's right, Raiders fans can sound off on all things Raiders, from players to coaches to even the new Allegiant Stadium. Vegas Nation Fan Zone is accessible 24/7 and allows fans to generate and upload their own posts for lively interaction. Simply go to fanzone.vegasnation.com to sign up today.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. You're watching the judicial debate for Department 8. Recently, there was a fierce legislative debate over if businesses and governments should be responsible if their employees or customers catch coronavirus. Judge Atkin, will you tell the viewers how you would approach a case where, for instance, a teacher sued the Clark County School District after being infected with the coronavirus?
Well, that's simple, relatively simple. I would follow the law. And if the Nevada legislature were to pass a law to implement protections for the workers, I would enforce that law just as it's written. I'm a firm believer in judges following the law, not writing the law from the bench. I believe in the separation of powers. As a judge, we apply the law to the facts. And as for any protection of coronavirus victims, certainly empathize with them. And if the law is drafted as such for protections against businesses and their employers, that's the way I'll apply it. If the law is not written in there or restricted, I will follow the law. It's really that simple.
Thank you, Judge Atkin. Jessica, same question for you. Tell us how you would approach a case where, for instance, a teacher sued the Clark County School District after contracting coronavirus.
Well, I would follow the law. So if the legislature has created statutes that guide us, then I would follow what those statutes say. It's simple. Even if you have compassion that provides for liability, or if there is also governmental immunity could come into play there. So I would plain and simple follow the law.
Thank you, Jessica. Jessica, what, if anything, most needs to change with Clark County's judicial system?
I think we have a wonderful judicial system. I think that the thing that probably needs to change the most is creating a little bit more equal access to justice for people that don't have the ability to hire lawyers. One of the things that I have done in the past, I was actually in a courtroom one time and I saw a veteran that was in pro per and desperately needed representation, and worked. My boss is a veteran, my husband is a veteran, my father was a World War II veteran. I stood up and I represented him pro bono. I think one of the things that we could do, and I volunteered to do that in open court, I think one of the things that we could do is we could allow pro bono hours to serve for CLE hours. Right now, that's only available through the Legal Aid Center to do that. I think that if we brought better access to justice for individuals.
Thank you, Jessica. Judge Atkin, what needs to change in the judicial system?
I would echo my opponent's sentiment, and that is access to justice. And I've always felt strong in that. I'm a member of the American Board of Trial Advocates that advocates Seventh Amendment right to jury trials. A lot of poor folks don't have access, and that's why I served on the Nevada Law Foundation for a number of years as a trustee, which steered money toward those access programs, such as the Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada and Barbara Buckley and the wonderful work that she does. I would also institute more self-help centers for forms. We already have some kiosk forms. I would relax the rules of timelines and deadlines for pro se litigants to the extent possible. And then I would encourage more pro bono work, including allowing senior attorneys to for waiving their bar fees and come back and represent litigants on a limited basis in that regard.
Thank you, Jessica. And we'll be right back with our final segment.
Alexa, play my flash briefing.
Here's what's new in today's news.
Stay in the loop of the latest information in the Las Vegas Valley with the Las Vegas Review Journal Flash Briefing. Every day, we will provide you with everything you need to know in news, business, weather, entertainment, and sports. Go to the Alexa app and search LVRJ News Briefing. Then say, Alexa, play my flash briefing to hear 3 minutes of the most important information in Las Vegas.
The Vegas Nation podcast is your source for all your Las Vegas Raiders news. Subscribe and get fast takes and smart coverage. Download the Vegas Nation app, check out vegasnation.com, and stay up to date with your Las Vegas Raiders.
Welcome back to the final segment of our judicial debate for Department 8. It's time for closing statements. Jessica, you have 1 minute.
My life and legal experiences have taught me to be thoughtful, objective, decisive, compassionate, and fair. And I will bring those qualities to the bench. I've been a court-appointed arbitrator for the last 4 years, and that variety of legal knowledge in multiple areas of the law uniquely positions me as the best candidate for Department 8. I want to thank the RJ for providing me with this opportunity, and I look for the voters' support on November the 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jessica. Judge Atkin, 1 minute.
Thank you. I invite the Clark County voters to look me up. Look me up online. Look up, before I was appointed through the judicial selection process, a grueling 4-month process. All my interviews were online with the Judicial Selection Committee, a 10-member committee headed by the Chief Justice of the Nevada Supreme Court and attorneys and community leaders from our state. I was selected out of 16 applicants, many of whom are running for judge now. I was selected as one of the final 3, and it was based on my legal knowledge, the fact that I served part-time in Community College of Southern Nevada, peer mentorship with attorneys, teaching them to do the right thing. And then eventually I made it to the 3 finalists, went to the governor, who I had never met before, and then I was appointed. And so my qualifications, my experience, it's all online. You can look it up. I'm on Facebook, Retain Trevor Atkin for Judge, and also trevorforjudge.com, and that's with the number 4. I'm the only Trevor on the ballot, and I appreciate your consideration of the voters.
Thank you very much, and thank you both for joining us, and thank you for watching this edition of Nevada Judicial Debates. Remember, you can find this program and more information on all the judicial races at reviewjournal.com. We'll see you next time.